So when you go to the grocery store, you'll find these fillets just like this. Sometimes they're in the freezer department, which is perfectly fine. Just let them thaw naturally, not under running water. Or you'll find them already in the refrigerated case under ice. And a couple of different ways you're going to get them. Sometimes they have the pin bone left in them. These do not, these red sockeye fillets, but they do have the skin on. So if you're not a skin person, I'll just show you how to take that off real quick. Or the guy or gal at the fish market will be happy to do this for you. So I'm just going to take my knife, run it against the skin, real gently, and just pull with your left hand and push with your right. And just work that skin right off your fillet, okay? I did a pretty good job. I left a little bit of meat on there, but generally you want just that beautiful shiny fillet. We're going to cook some both ways. This is from the collar part of the fish. This is where I like to start. So if you have a choice in the supermarket, always go from this end rather than from the tail end, right? The tail does the most work and it's kind of the stringiest part of the fish. So I like to start up here at the collar and then love getting the belly in my fillet. So I want 2 6-ounce portions. So there they are. And I'll do the same with skin on. One of the great things about getting skin on and actually learning to love the skin is it's where a lot of the good fats are, right? So it's good to eat that skin. I suggest scaling it a little bit first. I have a little spice rub here. This is our best-selling salmon rub around the country, but I think it's the easiest way to kind of do a simple fish. If you're eating more and more salmon, I think it's really nice to have some opportunities here to change up how you like it. Okay, this is an important little tool for fish. You can see it's kind of a little bit curved and gets right under the fillet. You can pan fry this, or as you can see, I'm using a grill pan because my goal is to get you outside on your charcoal grill and to do this right on the charcoal grill. Now, one of the keys about when you're cooking salmon or any sort of fish is kind of set it and forget it. We want to create a crust on our fish. And so if you're sitting here messing around with it, then you're going to ruin your crust and ruin the look of your fish. As we talk about so much with fish, and as all you are thinking about fish, it's always good to know where your fish comes from, right? So this is from Bristol Bay, Alaska. It's the last great salmon run left on Earth, and it is one of my favorite ways to utilize the wild fish out there because this one in particular is a sustainable run, certified by a couple of different fisheries, and it's a beautiful way to support the wild fishery. By eating the wild fish, you're supporting the fishery, which gives the locals jobs, and it's an easy way to help in the fight to save Bristol Bay from Pebble Mine.
What is Pebble Mine?
Pebble Mine is, well, let's just show you what I have here. Pebble Mine is a disaster waiting to happen. This is projected for the headwaters of Bristol Bay, where these fine fish, some 50 million returning a year, breed their young. And this mine wants to go right in the heart of it. And it's a bad idea. It's the wrong mine in the wrong place. And we have to stand up to the government and say, not on my watch. All right. So I set it long enough so that we got a little crust there. And you can kind of feel if it's still sticky or not, okay? If it is, just kind of move it back for a second. This is a little trick for cooking perfect salmon every time. Now, we're used to doing this on your turkey or a roast chicken or something to check your temperature. Well, you can do it on a steak or a fillet of salmon. And the idea is that when you overcook fish, you're disrespecting the fish, right? It's supposed to be delicious, moist, lovely. And so I just use a little digital thermometer and I put it right in the center of my fillet. And I want to pull this fillet at about 105 to 110 degrees. I'm at 100, right about 100 right now. This one's a little thicker. But it's important on the digitals because they get in there and they tell you the temperature right away. This temperature is moving really fast right now because it's such a small piece of fish on a hot griddle. The other thing, like this one over here is all the way down at 80 something still. We're still raw in the center essentially. At 105 to 110, I'm going to pull this. And I'm going to do two things. I want to show you how important resting is to a piece of fish. We often hear about on your filet mignon or your big rib steak, but resting works with fish too. Because as this is sitting here, so let's say you're in my restaurant, as this is sitting here waiting for the rest of the food to come up, it's still cooking, right? So if I pull it at 105, it's because of the two hot sides that are already on it, it's going to continue to warm up to 110. So 110 is rare, 120 is medium rare for a piece of fish. I want that skin to get nice and crispy. Okay, so I'm going to just break this fillet for you so you can see the inside. You see how my translucent center is in there still? That's right where I want my fish. I want that translucent center. This one was a little bit thicker, so it's probably ready right now. And let's just turn over this skin side and see how our skin is looking. Well, I want a little more toast on there. I'm going to put it on the hotter part of the grill. Going to check our temperature. All right, we're climbing up to the 90s. Okay, this one's ready to go. 105 degrees. Then I'll show you what a rare one looks like. So cooking fish is always a challenge for people. It's the number one thing I hear that they're concerned about in their home is, I don't know when it's done, it makes my house smell, it's always too dry, and that's literally because you're overcooking it. So I'm going to show you what a rare one looks like. Okay, so now we're at rare. You can see it's still pretty much raw in the center. Lots of people love it this way. You know, fish, there's a reason people eat sushi all the time, right? This is raw fish. They like it that way. That is perfectly acceptable. If a diner were to ask me, I'd like my salmon rare, that is what I would serve them. If I want a kind of medium rare, let's look at this one. This one, you have a little bit more of the chalky orange up on the skin. You can see that. We're getting much closer to medium rare there. I'd say that's right on the money for medium rare. Now we're at medium here. And it's a little bit deceiving sometimes with the red salmon, like the sockeye salmon, because it stays red all the way through. But that is medium at this point. And this is medium at this point. You see the chalky white and then the pink center. So this is a lovely plate of fish. I've kind of made a mishmash, but we've learned a lesson, which is don't overcook your fish, right? Use a thermometer. Use all the tools that we have to be the best cook you can be. Oh.